Hey everyone, welcome to another live announcement for TYR WZA SoCal and the inaugural TYR Cup. Tommy Marquez here, bringing you the next athlete announcement. I'm rolling solo today. Gave the crew the day off after they handled the weekend, but so far we have had 4 athletes announced. If you're just joining us, if this is your first announcement, or if you're unfamiliar with what's going on with TYR WZA SoCal as a whole. Wodapalooza is now moving to the West Coast. This will be their first year on the West Coast in TYR Wodapalooza SoCal. You can see just below the dates, celebrating September 20th through the 22nd. That's in Huntington Beach, California. If you have to pick a place to hold the inaugural event in SoCal, I got to say, as a California native, Huntington Beach is awesome. They host a ton of cool events there, everything from pro volleyball on the beach right there on the waterfront. You're not going to want to miss it. If you want to buy tickets, they're on sale now. You can scan the QR code in the bottom of the screen to access tickets at any time. They have a variety of packages and price points for you guys to check it out. So far, we have announced Jeff Adler, Tia Claire Toomey, Lazar Jukic, and Daniel Brandon, 4 of the world's best athletes that are going to be teaming up. The format is pretty simple. It's going to be teams of 8, Team North America versus Team World. Each team is going to have 4 men, 4 women. There's going to be a captain assigned to each team. We don't know who the captains are yet, but the captain is going to be responsible for picking the last male and female athlete on each team. So there is going to be some responsibility baked into that. They're also going to have the decision to, manipulate the teams accordingly, because there's going to be a variety of team formats. We have all 8 teams, all 8 athletes competing in the all hands. You have individual events where you're going to go basically head to head with all 8 athletes competing on the floor at the same time, but on an individual basis. You're going to have spotlight, where you're basically going to have to pick one athlete, throw them out on the floor, and it's their time to shine. You have the main Miami team, which is the format that Wodapalooza has made very popular. 3 athletes, same gender trios. You have CrossFit Games team, 2 men, 2 women, and of course you have the captains. So that's another thing that's going to make the captain's pick incredibly important, and there'll be a chance to vote on that. So the male-female captains will have to step out to the floor and throw down. And as I said, we have 4 athletes announced so far, and we're actually going to be joined by the next athlete in just a moment. You might be familiar with him. I don't know. He's maybe got some hardware around his neck. He's done some cool stuff in the sport. If you want a sneak peek before we welcome him in, you can take a look at this, and you can get content from him on his YouTube channel right now. Let's find out who the next athlete is. Yeah, that's right. The 2-time Fittest Man on Earth, Justin Medeiros, is your next athlete coming in for Team North America. You kind of had to assume he was going to be on the roster. He's California native as well, going to throw down. And he's joining us now on the show to talk about his inclusion in the inaugural TYR Cup. Justin, thanks so much for joining us today, my friend. How you doing?
Dude, doing awesome, man. So pumped for this.
Yeah, so, we talked to a few athletes already about this, but this is a new format. And I would suffice to say most athletes in the sport haven't taken part in something like this. So what was your initial reaction when you read about it?
Yeah, no, man, I'm super pumped for it. I mean, I competed at Wodapalooza this year for the first time on a team, and it was a blast. I mean, I think it was a big part of having awesome teammates, but I think this is going to be so cool doing North America versus the world. I think it's going to hopefully line up really well and be a close competition, but I'm mind blanking right now. It used to be like the invitation, not the invitational. It was like,
the team series?
yeah, the team series.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminded me of. I mean, I thought that was always so cool when you got selected to be like Team USA, Team Canada.
Oh no, so that's the invitational. You're right. That was the invitational.
I did have it right. Yeah. I mean, I've been so bummed that got taken away. I always thought that was such a cool event. I mean, Adam, my coach, was a coach for Team USA one of the years, and all the athletes that I've talked to that have been able to do it said how awesome it was. And I think this will be kind of one of those things where we get to bring in athletes from all over the world to kind of compete again. It's going to be some of the best of the best. So it's going to be pretty cool, I think.
And you mentioned the initial experience at Wadapalooza. I feel like that's kind of part of the, I don't know, elite athlete career experience, right? You get to team up at Wadapalooza at some point on a really talented team in a very different format. And was there anything like that changed your opinion on or changed your view about how the team competition works? Because we see a lot of athletes like go through it the first time, like, oh, okay, that's a lot different than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I've had a sneak peek into it just with Adam. I mean, he competed at the CrossFit Games 10 years on a team. So
Yeah.
I think when you compete on team competition, there's a lot of strategy that goes in to each workout because you guys got to work as a team. It's not individual anymore. So there's a lot of communication, a lot of strategy. Everyone's got to be on the same game plan. And I think that's what's helped me in my individual career. So moving over to team when I did at Wadapalooza was a really fun event given having awesome teammates.
Yeah, and there's going to be a few different scenarios for this one. One of which is the spotlight event, and I've asked pretty much anyone we've talked to about this so far. There's going to be a point in time where it's going to be 1v1. You gotta. I don't know if you're a Pokemon kid growing up, but like, hey, you got to send your best one out there. Let's throw down and duel. If is there anything off the top of your head, whether it's single modality or a mix, where you're like, guys, send me in, put me in, coach. Let me go put one in the cheap seats.
Oh man, dude, I'd love to get thrown out there for everything. I mean, I think that's going to be an electric event. Given I only have one CrossFit Games event win, I don't know if there's anything that's like directly up my alley, but there's definitely not going to be a challenge that I'm going to back down from. So I'm really excited to see whatever we get thrown at.
Do you anticipate there being like the pressure, like what the pressure is going to be like? Because I've talked to some people saying that the team competition, when you feel like you're also having to not just prop up yourself, but prop up other people who are kind of counting on you, the pressure is almost like it's a little shocking for some individual athletes at first.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely think it is different, but in a lot of the ways, like I do view myself that I'm on a team. I mean, I got my coach Adam, my coach Jesse, I got Ellie, I got Daniel, I got Dal, like I got my whole family, and I think there's so many people that contribute to my success, and I view that as a team. So it's a little bit different, obviously, competing on a team. But man, I mean, just with the people that have been announced so far, I mean, I think it's going to be awesome. Hopefully pretty easy going. I mean, it's going to be pretty quick after the game. So I think a lot of us are going to be going in there with like the same mindset of like, obviously want to show up and represent, but it's going to be a really fun time as well.
Yeah, because I didn't mention at the top, and if you're just joining us now, Justin is the fifth athlete announced for the inaugural TYR Cup. You will be competing as a team for $160,000, so it's
Yeah.
not insignificant amount of money for the win. So there's definitely something on the line to be competing for. But you mentioned the other athletes that have been announced so far. You look at who's on your team: Danielle, Jeff. What are your initial thoughts on what they bring to the table, and what are some ways maybe you guys can be successful as a unit?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm super stoked for it. I mean, at least on the male side, I mean, we're still waiting to see all the other athletes that are going to get announced, and your head starts turning like, all right, well, spots are starting to fill up. Who else is left? And like, who's going to be the team captain that gets to select the fourth? I mean, it's going to be really, really cool. Wadapalooza has always done such a good job with those team events, making them super interesting and get the twist, like you said, with the spotlight events and what we have to compete as a team. I think there's gonna be so much different variety of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty confident about Team North America. I think we got a lot of experience. We got a lot of podium finishes on there so far. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, is the mindset shift tough because right now we're preparing for the games, and you're gonna have to go from like, and I know you're a competitive dude. You're gonna have to go from like, hey, when we're on the competition floor, it's dog eat dog to like, hey, I got to figure out actually how to work with you.
Oh yeah. No, I think for sure it's going to be that. And especially, I mean, after seeing the leaderboard after the games, I think there's going to be a lot of banter back and forth about where we all finished on the leaderboard at the games compared to going into the event at Wadapalooza.
Yeah.
Who's going to get selected for what events? I think a lot of guys are going to be pretty antsy to kind of get out there on the competition floor again. So whether it's proving what happened at the games or trying to prove everyone wrong from what happened at the games, I think it's going to be really cool to kind of have that event so close to the games. Going to add
Yeah,
another layer to it for sure.
it's going to be an interesting dynamic, because we will have the one lasting placement for the rest of the year. But you're coming off a year where obviously didn't go the way you wanted at the games last year, but I think we got glimpses of what we come to expect now from you at West Coast. What did that finish do for you in terms of like stepping into games training and how you're feeling about the prospects when we move to Texas in a month?
Yeah, I mean, obviously last year wasn't the year that I planned for, but I think it was just a combination of a lot of things that kind of stacked up on top, and it kind of led to that result. But the confidence always been there. I mean, like I said, I rely on the team that I have around me so much that kind of getting back into this year, there wasn't doubt, I would say. I mean, I think there was like the pressure to prove what I know I'm capable of, but definitely no doubt. And I think through every stage of the season is just being like confident in myself, what I come through the open, through quarterfinals, and then semifinals was kind of the first time where you're in that live competition again. It's like, nope, like I still know how to do this. I still know where I'm at. And man, I think these 2 months are going by super quick leading into the games, but man, I mean, we're getting a couple workouts released already and all
Yeah,
that stuff. So
yeah.
I'm really excited for it.
What do you think about it so far? We have the announcement. We have some announcements. We have a run and swim. We have Chad. Have you done Chad? Is this something that's going to be completely new?
Well, Chad, I've never done. Obviously, since it didn't announce, we've been definitely getting our box step ups in. But I mean, there's going to be a twist in that event. Not sure what that is going to be. I mean, you never know with Dave and the CrossFit Games, and
Yeah.
I'm pumped for the run swim. I mean, my first year at the games, we did like or second year at the games, we did like the long mile swim with the kayak, and then since we've swam in a pool, and then we had no swimming. So I'm excited to see like that traditional first event at the games with a run and a swim. I think it's gonna be a great way to start the weekend. But I'm excited for it. Looks like the swim's gonna be long.
Yeah, it's interesting because you have a very unique experience because two of your first 3 years at the games were swimming in a pool,
Yeah,
and up until 2020, it only happened once in
yeah.
2013. So you haven't really gotten to sink your teeth in a more traditional games type swim. But um, yeah, I mean, I guess at this point you kind of have to be ready for some kind of twist. But touching back on the placement, does Sean and I were talking about this the other day, is that you know the way some of the best get better is even when you have an off day or you have misses, your misses and dispersion gets better. It's kind of a concept in golf. Do you feel like that happened last year? We're like, hey, even if everything goes wrong, I'm still in the hunt for the top 10 all year, and I'm like, I can still dial one up like you did with the handstand medley and the inverted medley. Like, was there any like positive takeaway for that for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was glimpses. I mean, that day one at the games for me was pretty rough, and I think when I look back at my games finishes throughout the weekend, I think as the weekend went on, I became more and more like myself, which was a good confidence thing, despite having like a really bad day one. Being able to bounce back from that, and I think the plan this year is just kind of shed some of that stress and stuff that comes with being at the top, and it's kind of going out there and knowing that like I can compete at the top no matter what's happening and just be confident in that. And man, I'm just stoked for this year.
I'm you something just popped in my head because you mentioned Adam, and with Chad being announced, Adam's like a mountaineering dude.
Oh yeah.
He's out and he's in the wilderness and he's doing some crazy stuff. And I remember when we came out and visited you in Fort Vancouver before the games the first year, he had you doing hills and all sorts of stuff with sandbags. And is there anything like you don't have to get into too much because I know you don't want to give away the secret sauce, but is has he really like gotten into that yet and like gotten into some weird stuff for prepping for Chad?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're all our brains are definitely turning, trying to figure out what the twist is. Definitely doing some a lot worse versions, hopefully, than
Yeah.
what we're going to see. But obviously, who knows? I mean, it's going to be event 7, I think, is what they said. It's the last workout before the cuts. We'll definitely add some added pressures. You have some of the guys that are on the line in the back going to be
Oof.
sending that workout just to make the cut line. So it's going to be an interesting, very long, but hopefully there's a twist in it that makes it pretty exciting.
Yeah, just having to send it on the cut line for that one. That there are other workouts you'd probably want to be like, yeah, I can, try to
Yeah.
empty the tank here, but
Yeah. I mean, 20 minutes into that workout, you could be in first place and you're barely halfway. So a lot of
oh,
stuff could happen and go
just
wrong.
saying
I
that.
mean,
Oh,
yeah.
oh man, that
It's
makes
gonna
me
be good.
hurt just thinking about what you guys are gonna have to go through. But as far as like prep now, because we're what I mean, realistically, there's probably 2 big weeks of training, maybe two and a half tops before you start tapering and heading out to Texas. What does the final prep look like for you in terms of like getting out there early and anything you're maybe trying to fine tune a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of like staying on track, touching on all the movements. I mean, in reality, you're not going to get insanely more fit in 2 weeks. I mean, given in even the past 2 months, like you're definitely the fitness is going to increase, but it's just about getting dialed in, getting the headspace right, making sure the body's feeling good, and making sure you're touching on all the events and your body's ready for the volume that you're going to see. I mean, who knows how many events we've seen? 15 events before at the games, so it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and the heat too. A little bit different
Yeah.
heat this year, but you guys getting some warm temps up in Boise?
Oh yeah, no, we haven't had a day under 100 here in like a week, so definitely getting that heat acclimation, but
That'll do it.
it's a dry heat up here. Texas is a little bit more humid, so that's going to be definitely a different factor. I mean, even if we have events in the morning or at night, that humidity just kind of like hangs around, and that definitely is going to play a factor, especially if we're doing Chad outside.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's gonna be gnarly. Well, hopefully some outdoor sessions on the stretch head with that nice new turf you got. It looks pretty sweet.
Yeah,
We'll
dude. I
hopefully
mean,
get
that Shawgrass turf that we have is next level. I mean, it's the same turf that we use at the games, which is also awesome. Get to like do some sleds, pig flips, just get to learn the feel of it and how it moves. It's been a huge addition to the shred shed, and it looks pretty sick, I'd have to
yeah.
say.
Hey, that's always important, right? Get those
Yeah,
aerial shots. It
exactly.
looks sick. If you guys actually want to catch some of that footage of him working out, he's got some training day dumps in his YouTube channel up on Justin Medeiros' channel right now. You can catch that as well as I think some training up in British Columbia, which is pretty cool too. So
Oh yeah, that's where
um,
Coach Jesse's at. So we're releasing
yep,
videos every week, kind of showing what we're doing. Not too much, but hopefully enough
just
to make
enough.
it a little bit exciting.
Yep, totally. Well, Justin, I'll let you get back to it. Thanks so much for hopping on today. Excited to see you at the games. Hopefully, getting back on that podium, and then to throw down in TYR WZA SoCal in the TYR Cup and a fun kind of new format to see a team up with the sports best.
Oh yeah, man, I'm pumped.
Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back again in 2 more days with another announcement. We've got 2 more announcements on our channel before we pass off the baton. And again, if you guys are interested in checking out TYR WZA SoCal, you can catch any tickets that they have available by checking the QR code on your screen right now. Again, September 20th through the 22nd, Huntington Beach, California. Scan the code on your screen